To go on a true adventure requires true sacrifice. You must be willing to leave your comfortable life behind, all while planning for every possible scenario. You will say goodbye to the ones you care about and make them the promise that you will be safe on your journey. But along the way, you'll learn that this promise will be hard to keep. My name is Cedric. I'm an amateur videographer and an even more amateur adventure writer. I spent nearly a month preparing my gear and getting the bike ready for the journey, and on July 1st, 2021, I hopped on the road to start my trip. I learned almost immediately how tough this trip was going to be. While I spent so much time preparing my gear, this was the first time I rode my bike completely packed down, and it seemed a little overwhelming. I was hauling nearly 140 pounds worth of gear, not to mention the fact that it was nearly 100 degrees in the Central Valley of California. Though the weather quickly cooled off and I arrived at my first destination to spend one final night near Santa Cruz with my girlfriend before heading north to Oregon. I did feel bad because I spent nearly all of our time together fixing last-minute issues with my bike and equipment, though she never minded and remained a constant source of inspiration and encouragement for my trip. The next morning was a very sad goodbye. The look my girlfriend gave me through her teary eyes was the same one I saw the previous day when I said goodbye to my parents. The look someone gives you when they wonder if they will ever see you again. Despite the tears, I hopped on the road heading north. What was supposed to be a 6-hour trip to Leggett, California, took nearly 9 hours due to the San Francisco Bay Area traffic. I arrived to the last available campsite in the area just as the sun was setting. This is where I made a gruesome discovery. My coolant reservoir overflow tank had exploded. I have no idea what caused this and when it might have happened, but I had no choice other than to deal with it. My cell service was shoddy in the forest, but I was able to get a call out to my girlfriend to explain to her what had happened. She did some YouTube research and called me back with some solutions. I was able to fabricate a makeshift coolant tank utilizing a small plastic container, the original hose connections from the reservoir, and some epoxy. This makeshift reservoir got me to Redway, California, where I plan to swap out for something a little more permanent. The only problem was it was the 4th of July weekend and no shops would be open for a few days, let alone carry the specific part I needed. I was forced to make a sturdier contraption out of some PVC I got from the hardware store. I was finally back on the road, but nearly a day behind schedule. While I was planning to be in Port Orford, Oregon by the end of the day, the sunlight quickly disappeared and I was forced to find a campsite just south of Crescent City. After a good night's sleep, I made my way up the coastline through the foggy and windy roads. The fog eventually burned off, revealing some of the most beautiful coastlines I had ever seen. All the problems and doubts I experienced the previous day seemed to just dissolve away, and the excitement of starting the TransAmerica Trail started coming to life. I had made it to Port Orford, Oregon, and I was overjoyed that I got to stand on the beach that I had seen in all the TransAmerica Trail videos. The only difference was that for me, this was only the beginning of my journey, and not the end, as I chose to ride the trail in the opposite direction that it was intended. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of my TransAmerica Trail Adventure Across America series. Be sure to check out part 2, that's when the action really starts kicking in.